I'm so hyped, you guys. I'm so happy because guess what? We're in the month of October. Relax. Relax. That means it's my birthday and I'm getting text messages from everybody. Like, bitch, where's that? If you hear music in the background, I have ratchet roommates and they're moving out. So they're bumping music. It's like, it's my last day. I'm finna make y'all mad. Bitch, check out this highlight though. I ain't even gonna tell y'all my secret. I'm just kidding. It's Sun God. You know I can't go without telling my baby daddies what's really popping. It's from Sun God. They have this palette with blushes. It has 2 blushes and 2 bronzers. So 2 blushes, 2 bronzers. This is the highlight I use, which is a bronzer, but use it as a highlight. Look at, bitch. Like, bitch. Let me stop calling you a bitch. Today is a story time. I wanted to do a story time video. What a long intro for a story time video. But this story time is going to be about the time I was exiled to Africa, to Nigeria, because that's where I'm from. My mom dropped me off out there and it was horrible. Where do I start? I'm going to try and make this quick and sweet. Right now, looking back, it's really funny. It's a funny experience, but at the time, I really thought I was gonna die. I was in middle school. I was a really bad child. Like, I was always getting in trouble, yelling at teachers, cussing at them, calling them all types of names, cussing at kids, and like just doing the worst, just the worst. I wasn't a hoochie. I was just a really bad tomboy. There's this boy who, at lunchtime, he would always like, you know, mess with me and like push me in my head and stuff like that, and I hated that. So I decided, you know what, I'm not about to deal with you. So I cussed them out, right, and whatever, and then we went our separate ways. I then went to class, and while I was in class I had to use the restroom, so I went to the restroom. On my way to the restroom, I was walking past the classroom and I took a glance inside the classroom and I saw that boy that was talking shit to me, but this time he was in class, so he couldn't talk shit back. I could only talk shit to him and he couldn't do anything back. I was like, this is the perfect time. So, you know, I just stood outside of the classroom and I was like, the boy looks at me and I'm like, and then the teacher peeps her head around the corner and just sees me like, I'm like, she's like, come here, and she said, go to the principal's office now. Go to the principal. I was like, I'm not going to the, you don't even know who I am. And the boy was like, her name is Amara. I was like, oh, I'm about to beat. I was so mad. She called the principal's office and said, there's a girl, she's wearing this, and she needs to come to your office. If not, send a proctor for her because she's outside of my classroom flipping off my students. So anyways, I get to the principal's office. This is probably like the 5th time I'm in the principal's office, and this is probably like my 2nd or 3rd junior high school that I've been. This is my 3rd junior high school that I've been to for being bad and getting kicked out. I'm headed to the principal's office and I'm like, whatever, I'm just gonna lie my way out of it. The principal's like, oh, so what's going on? What happened? And then I was like, nothing. There's this boy, he was making gestures at me, so I flipped him off. The teacher was like, you can't do that in our school, that's against the rules. And I was like, well, he did it first. The principal was like, well, he's special ed. God damn. And then they were like, it doesn't matter anyways, your mom's already here. And I was like, what is my mom here for? That was quick as fuck. Like, that was so fast. How did she get here? And I was like, damn, and I'm gonna get my ass whooped because I just flipped off a special needs child. And I didn't know, because he was a regular ass boy. He just had like, he was just extra. Like, to me, he was just extra, always talking shit. And I was just like, you know what, I'm done with you. My mom is sitting right there already. Like, she was already there before I even got to the principal's office. And I go straight to her and I'm like, I didn't know he was special needs. And he was flipping me off first. She just looked at me like, what are you talking about? And she was like, well, go get your stuff, we're leaving. And I was like, where are we going? And she was like, remember I told you we're going to Nigeria? We're going now. I was like, fuck yeah, because I was about to get suspended. Actually, I think I did get suspended. But he wrote me up a suspension slip. So I think that was my, like, I was getting suspended that day. But my mom was like, we're going to Nigeria now. Like, we're going to the airport. And so I was like, damn, didn't nobody tell me that we was leaving right now? I'm like, yeah, fuck all y'all bitches. Y'all thought y'all was gonna suspend me and I was gonna be at home all bored. Fuck yeah. I was excited. I was like, yeah, I'm traveling. None of these hoes travel. All these teachers, I bet you none of these teachers has even been to Africa. None of these teachers have even been to Europe. Fuck all these hoes. I don't give a fuck. Y'all suspended me and I'm going on vacation. It's me and my mom, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. This is weird because usually when we go to Nigeria, it's me, my mom, my sister, or like, you know, well, the first 2 times I think I went with me and my mom and my sister. So we get to Nigeria, you know, the whole shebang. We see our family members and all that stuff, and then we get to my dad's house in Nigeria, and I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. You know, I was chilling. We went to a few places. We saw a few things, you know. And then maybe we were there for like 2 weeks. We were there for 2 weeks. I'm sorry. We were there for a span of like 9 days. On the 7th day, I was sleeping And in the middle of the night, they came and they knocked on my door, and they're like, Amara, come out. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm coming out. Like, what's up? And everybody was inside the living room. Everybody, my aunties, my uncles, my mom, my dad. Like, they were like, sit down, we need to talk to you. And I was like, I know I'm a badass, like, whatever. Like, you know, you guys gonna talk, but nothing's gonna change. I'm still gonna be a badass. I don't give a fuck about none of you hoes. My mom started first. You know, anything I do for you is because I love you, right? Like, I'm just like, all right, where are we going with this? My mom was like, I think you should go to school here for a couple of years until you get your act together. I'm like, no. Like I had a choice. I'm like, no. My dad is like, you don't have a choice. We've already enrolled you in school. You're going to school here in a couple of weeks. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going with my mom home. And my dad's like, no, you're staying here with me. And I'm like, I don't even know you, nigga. Like, I'm not staying here with you. Sorry. My mom was like, we have to. We want you to get a different experience on life. We want you to see different things. You know, we want you to learn respect and how to respect your elders and womp, womp, womp. I was just like, not having it, man. I cried. I cried my life out. I didn't eat for a week. You don't understand. When I say I cried, like I sobbed. I laid in the grass, and I'm allergic to grass, and it's in Nigeria, so even though there's grass, there's mosquitoes all over the place. So my dad's compound is what we call it. It means his land. He had 2 houses at the back of the land, and we were on the house on the left, and in the front of the 2 houses is just a field of grass, like as a field as like big as a football field, like a lot of grass. Let me give you an image, and then there's like mango trees on the side, and like greens. You know what greens are? There's like green trees and stuff like that. Spinach. That's what you guys call it here. On the side, like you know, there's the dog houses all the way on the other side. The grass wasn't high grass. It was regular cut long grass, like your house, like your long grass. I was just laying down in the grass, and like grasshoppers and mosquitoes and stuff were just coming out of the grass and like jumping on me, and I was just laying on the grass sobbing. And then my mom, she grabs her bags, and they call a taxi, and the taxi comes into the compound to the front of the house, pulls up, and my mom like gives me a hug. She gives me a kiss. She didn't cry. She didn't even cry. Like, I was like, this bitch is not even crying. This bitch don't love me. No offense, mom, I love you, and you're not a bitch. I love you so much. But this is how I was feeling at the moment. Man, I love my mom so much, so she knows. But I was like, damn, this woman does not love me. I was standing at the door, and I wouldn't let them close the door. I was holding the door screaming. I was like, you just gonna leave me? You just gonna leave me here? I don't know anybody. The way I was crying was not like a... It was not like a human being cry. My eyes are tearing up right now. Can you tell? I was so sad. I was like, I cannot believe this lady that has been in my life for a whole 12 years is just going to drop me off in a foreign country with a nigga that I just barely met last year talking about you, Dad. How long? I was like, how long you gonna leave me here? I was like, no, I want to be out long. I was like, maybe a month. Okay, I can stay for a month. She's like, well, no, we'll let you know when you're coming back. I was like, fuck this. At the end of the day, my mom took off on the 7th day, and she took off to the United States on the 9th day, and she came back to her other 3 kids here while I stayed there with my new dad. He's not my new dad. He's my dad. He's my biological dad, but it's just I was never around him like growing up. So I was devastated. So I went to school in Nigeria for 2 years. I went to a boarding school in Port Harcourt, and that's where my dad's house was. That's where his land was. It was in Port Harcourt. It's my mom and my dad's land. It was in Port Harcourt. So they put me in a boarding school. It was a new boarding school. It's called Archdeacon Brown Education Center. So if any of you guys have been there, if any of you guys go there, comment down below and let me know how it is. Tell me about the teachers. I remember my counselor at the time, her name was like Miss Booney or something, and she's still there. But anyways, besides that, I can tell you guys a story about how it was to go to school in Nigeria and how like the girls were boarding school and like the scary stories. Like there's so many stories I have about being in Nigeria and going to school in a boarding school in Nigeria that I could share with you guys. And I had a lot of fun, but I also had a lot of issues. Like man, a lot. Like, it was crazy. Nigeria was crazy, and I've been traumatized ever since, and I haven't been back since I got back. I got back when I was 13 and I started high school, and the way I got back was I called my mom screaming and crying. I was over it. I was like, because my dog died. I had a dog. Her name was Trigger, and she died. And I got back from school, and I was looking forward to finding my little Trigger, and she was not there. And I asked them. My dad sat me down again. Triggers, we took her to the river. And I'm like, what the fuck you mean you took her to the river? He's like, we threw her in the river. And I was like, why would you throw my dog in the river? How you even know if she could swim? Like, that's so rude. And they're like, no, she died. And I was like, how did she die? She died because it was like, in Nigeria they call it Hamantan, is what we call winter. But they have dry winters. So it's really dry and a lot of rain. So there was worms that were hitting the sand, and then it will hit the sand, and the dog liked to lay on top of the sand. There's like a sand dune on the side of the compound, and the dog liked to lay on top of it, so the rain will hit the sand and the worms will come out and then go inside of her body while she was sleeping. So she died from worms, and I was not having it. I was like, I don't have nobody here. I don't like it here. So I called my mom and I told her I was gonna kill myself. And so when I told her, when I was like, Mom, look, I promise you to God, I was like, if I'm not back home in the next few months, I am going to kill myself. Every uncle and auntie that came to Nigeria from America, I told them if they don't take me home, I will kill myself. So I guess I scared my mom. And she sent my aunt, my auntie Chinyere, who lives in Corona now. She sent her to come and pick me up, and she picked me up. And my auntie Chinyere picked me up and took me to get my hair done. And she got me these braids. I got my hair done twice because I got it done and they were like big, ugly, and they looked like I just got back from Nigeria. And she was like, no, we're gonna get these redone. My dad took me to get those ugly braids done, and it took me all day to get those braids done. I hated it. Then my auntie was like, this is not nice. She took them out the same day. Within 3 hours, I had these bomb ass red twists. Oh my God, I was too on. I came back to America and I started school freshman year. 2006 is when I came back, and I was 13 years old. And my life was back to normal. So that's my story about how I was exiled to Nigeria for 2 years and how I got back. The stories about what happened in Nigeria, that's a whole different video. Man, I can tell you, I fought my auntie where I dragged her from the kitchen to the room, ripped out her braids because she was talking about my mom. No, don't mess with my mom. Don't talk about my mom. I dragged my aunt, my dad's sister. I grabbed the braids, wrapped them fist tight, and dragged her ass. I said, you talking about my mom? I'll whoop your, you got me. So Nigeria made me tougher. Like, even when I got back here from Nigeria, I was worse. I feel like I was worse because now I was in Nigeria, I was getting scars all over the place, fighting with boys, like climbing trees. Now I came back like a little monkey, badass monkey. Like, Nigeria doesn't change you. It teaches you to respect your adults, your elders, but that's about it. It just makes you stronger. So if anything I could say, like, if a bitch comes to me and she anything I could say I learned from Nigeria, I could say that I learned how to be a badass, because I came back not caring. Like, you talk about me, you disrespect me, I'm fighting you, so you know where you need to be. There's even a girl that went to that school with me that I'm still looking for because she slapped me. She slapped me straight in my face. My mom, my sister, my dad, my brothers, nobody had ever slapped me in my face at that point in my life. My brother had slapped me after that. My oldest brother, he was not playing with me. He's pop! Nobody at that time had ever slapped me, so I was just caught off guard. I was like, wait a second, did you slap me? Couldn't do anything because she was my elder and I was in school, and I'm looking for her ass. I'm looking for that ass. I'm gonna get her, man. I'm gonna get her. I don't care if she's a lawyer, a judge. I don't care. I'm gonna get her one way or another. Anyways, with that being said, you guys want more story times about my trip to or about my exile to Nigeria? If you want any more details, I know this happened to a lot of people, and I always hear people saying, I'm gonna send you to Africa, I'm gonna send you to Nigeria, and their parents saying it to them, and it's never happened to them. My mom actually did it. My mom is an OG Crip. Hey, what's up, cuz? Bled, what's up? So woo. My mom does what she says she gonna do, so don't mess with her, you know. So I was actually sent to Africa. If you guys want to know more, comment down below and let me know, because I'm here to tell y'all. Alright, love all my baby daddies. Have a nice day, and make sure you comment, rate, and subscribe so you can look forward to more videos. Fashion, all that. Don't forget to subscribe to my comedy channel, you guys. The link is below. Give me a kiss.
Don't play with a dog.